Well, it's Tuesday, and it snowed right here. This is this week's, and we're unboxing it in spite of the fact that, and I don't know if this is one of the new ones or not.
Oh my goodness!
Is that neat?
Oh, that is really cool.
It's okay to even say stinking
yeah,
cute.
you can use cute with that one.
Because this is a Porter, and I was never quite sure if it was a 6-ton or an 8-ton. But what I found is, because they're so darn similar, it really works it out well as an 8-ton Porter in half-inch scale or a 6-ton Porter in 22 scale,
well,
and I don't know what it would be in 20th scale. Bought one of these when they first came out. A little history. It's an LGB. Comes in a fairly classic-looking LGB box. And back in the 60s and 70s, LGB was so expensive that you just couldn't afford it.
Right.
And they came out with their new line made in China instead of Germany.
Yes.
And it's like all of a sudden it's going to be affordable. And there's the first offering.
There
right
it is.
there, $250.
Not bad.
Or no, was it? I think it was 150. Anyway, it was very affordable. And I bought one. I took it out in the backyard. I set it on the track. It took off. It ran beautifully. I hooked some cars to it, and I drove it around, and I loved it. And it's just so darn cool. And it ran just like an LGB.
Wow.
And it's just a little teeny Porter. A little saddle tank Porter. There were millions of these. Well, not millions, but there were a lot of these made back to
really
and
cool.
in different sizes and so on. And I liked it so much, I bought another one.
I can imagine.
Because, well, I had this stupid idea to take one of these and paint it Rio Grande Southern, put a bear trap spark arrestor on it, and a great big huge plow as a joke. Put the big butterfly plow on it, and then an air tank up here, and that'd just still be a really fun. So I bought one of these to do that with, and I think this is one of the ones I bought because that seems like the one that I used to run was one of the gray ones. And then Don bought one because he loved it so much, and then at some time he got tired of his and he said, "Here, you take mine." So we got three
of them.
Three of them, and all three of them are stinking cute. And I think two of them are painted in the black that say Helena, number 2 Iron Mountain, and the other one is I believe gray or silver or something like that. But same engine, but they run great.
Well, that's awesome. That's really
and
just
they were super affordable, and they're still on the market, and they're still all over the place. You can find them on eBay and so on. The detail is kind of basic, but they were always intended to be
they're
basic.
Yeah, it looks like a tourist railroad, ride the train around.
But the one thing LGB did not want to do when they came out with their cheap engines is make them not run.
Oh.
So while they kept the details to a minimum, it's pretty much a regular LGB mechanism. It's got the pickup shoes that you would expect to find. It runs like a Swiss watch, or should I say a German watch. And they're indestructible, and they run really well, and they've kept it a little bit affordable by plastic bell and the builder's plates on the side here are just printed on. It's just a decal, and they've kept it pretty basic, but the neat thing is that means you can buy 3 of these.
Right.
And you can triple head them if you want to. And you can just go nuts detailing one out and having a lot of fun.
Make your own bell.
Let me show you how it runs.
Okay, let's
stick it on the track. So it's a little bit stiff-legged.
Oh, okay.
But this one's never been run. This is I believe this is either Don's or it's the one I bought to modify, and I don't believe ever even took out of the box. The gray one has been run a lot.
Right.
But it makes sense that this one's a little bit stiff-legged, but it runs okay. And one of the things about these is people would put them on like restaurant railroads and stuff, and just turn them on, let them run 12 hours a day, and turn them on the next day.
There you go.
And 10 years later, they'd be doing they'd do the same thing because that's LGB.
Oh, that's cool.
And this is the most affordable way that you could ever get into LGB.
Right.
Never mind, it's a saddle tank Porter,
Oh, it is
one of
just
my
really
favorite
cool.
engines of all time.
So it wouldn't have to have a very big tender on the back of it, would it?
Well, this one didn't have a tender. The
Really?
the water's right here.
Okay.
And there's a bucket with some coal. These were never intended to go anywhere.
Oh.
They just kind of work up and down a little piece of track.
Oh, I see.
And I think some of them might have had a little bunker here to hold.
Oh, okay.
But
In case they went a little far.
yeah, and they weren't really intended for switching. But really, since there's no pilot truck or trailing truck, technically they're a switcher, but they're an industrial switcher. And they were used a lot in mining, highway
really?
construction.
Wow.
But they rarely ventured more than a quarter of a mile from wherever the heck it was they slept at night.
I see.
And so, yeah, they really didn't need a tender. Although I've seen them with a tender.
Well,
And
yeah.
this one's going to get one.
Right.
But because there might be a time when you do want to have a little bit of coal load.
Right.
You have to keep the water up here,
Right.
or it isn't going to go anywhere
Nope.
because there's not enough weight on the drivers because it's a little,
It's just light. Yeah, a
little
little
6 ton.
small.
You know, you'd think 6 tons is a lot of weight, but
Not really.
not for a locomotive. You still wouldn't want it to run over your foot.
No.
No.
Keep your foot off the track.
I ran into a guy. I didn't run into him, but I found a guy. I crossed paths. I was at a train event in Carson City at the Railroad Museum, and somebody showed up with one of these.
Oh, real? For
in
real?
In a 3-foot gauge.
Oh, my goodness.
And yeah, sure. And they put it on the track, and and he's going back and forth about 400 feet.
Neat.
And he had a little trailing car that he
you go.
put kids on and stuff, and he was just having a lot of fun.
I'll bet.
One of the things about some of these that has really excited me is if you look up under here, the wheel is right up against the floor. Well, on the real one, it isn't right up against the floor. It's right through the floor
Oh, gee.
because the clearances are so tight. So when you're driving one of these or firing one of these, if you look down, the
There's
rear
the
drive
wheel.
wheel is right next to your foot.
Don't sit
and
down.
the connecting rod is doing this right next. Don't put your foot
No,
over there.
watch.
OSHA would not approve.
No.
I don't know how many people lost toes to or their whole foot or something, but there's no cover, there's no nothing. There's a hole in the floor,
With the wheel going round
a
and
hole
round.
in the
Oh, my
floorboards
God,
where
my
snakes can
goodness.
come through and all kinds of things. But the wheel,
There it is.
and you just look down and you go, well, that's dangerous.
Yeah, don't touch.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
digress. But these are so neat.
Yeah.
And this one's safe because you don't actually have to get in it and get your foot caught in it.
Don't get in that. I don't think we all fit.
And I still think it'd be fun to put an air tank and a bear trap and a big plow on it and go out and see if you can't buck snow.
Yeah, look just like a little short bed pickup truck dressed up as a semi.
Yep. And we have 3 of them, so we can
dress
let
them up. Sure.
our minds run amok. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, pop over to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And the easy way to do that is the blue button. Are we ready? Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you here on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll be working on the railroad.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.